128 carriers won't insure you. I got one that will and give you water damage. But we ask those questions, and so often we receive referrals, we receive names, and it's like, here's the address, give me a quote. And that would be like me going up to Ryan and saying, Ryan, here's my name. Can I get a loan? You'd laugh, because there's so much more information that's needed. And to properly insure a home, having the correct information is vital. It's important, because the last thing that someone wants to do is a week before closing, they're getting ready to go and make sure they get everything finalized. The loan is going through its final underwriting. So now we're going to go ahead and bind coverage. And oh, by the way, we have a German Shepherd. Well, that carrier that we quoted you will not insure a German Shepherd. So now we need to go to a different carrier, which increases the premium, which changes the numbers for the closing, which can make the ratios off, which can impact the closing altogether. So having all of that information up front is really important, because we want to make sure we get it done right the first time. We're pretty confident that when we provide a quote, you can take it to closing. And that's important. Our numbers follow all the way through. Nothing changes, because we make sure we have everything we need up front. Coverages are really important. We find so many people don't understand what the coverage is for. Why do you have medical coverage? There's medical coverage in my homeowner's policy? What is that for? We explain that. Ordinance and law coverage. What is that for? Screen enclosure coverage. Is my screen enclosure covered for hurricane? Do I need to add an endorsement on it? All of those things we go through and we explain to the clients so that they understand what their coverages are, because most people never open their policy. They'll sign an application electronically. They never even looked at their policy. They don't understand what coverages are. We just had Hurricane Matthew go through several months ago. We had people calling us up saying, my fence got knocked over, I need to file a claim. Well, you have a 2% hurricane deductible. Well, I'll pay 2% of the damage. No, that's not how it works. It's 2% of your dwelling coverage. That's what it is. And they're like, you gotta be kidding me. They don't even understand. And it's all on the declaration page and on the quotes. It says, all other perils deductible, $1,000. Hurricane deductible, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, whatever it is. It's all on there. We just received a product which is really crazy. Chris just jumped in on it. And what this does is, I just purchased it for my home, okay? My deductible is a little over $7,000. So my hurricane deductible would be $7,000 if there was a hurricane. We now have a product through Lloyd's of London. I insure my hurricane deductible. It costs me $230 a year. Really? I just did Chris's. Instead of him paying an $8,000 deductible, he pays $196 a year. Which would you rather pay? So those are the type of things we had, and we had a general agency develop this product with Lloyd's of London, and then come to Brightway Insurance and say, you got the largest distribution network there is. We want you guys to sell this for us. So we're one of the only, you can't get it unless you go through Brightway. But that's a product that is phenomenal when you think about how it can help people, because sometimes their numbers are a little tight. So now you could go to a 5% hurricane deductible and insure the hurricane deductible. So now that'll lower their premium. So there's so many ways that this can actually help people. A lot of people don't have $6,000, $7,000, $4,000 or $5,000 just sitting around should a storm happen. For a small amount, we can insure that. The other thing that we could do is, when we talk with investors, Darcy's talking about houses that rent to students. Do you know how many carriers there are that if they find out you're renting to students won't insure the property? Quite a few. We ask that question. People don't like to answer it, but we ask that question because there are a lot of carriers where if they find out the home is rented to students, and it's a question on the application that they've signed, I do not rent to students, but they sign it anyway, and then they rent to students, and then when there's a kitchen fire or a claim, who was in the house, and they find out, they don't necessarily have to cover it. Most of the carriers will, but they don't have to. So making sure a home is insured properly, the right carriers, the right coverages, is vital. Because why do we get insurance in the first place? I mean, yeah, we get it so that we could get a loan, but it's a little more than that. The home is sometimes the biggest investment we make, and we need to protect it. And y'all know where insurance came from? Where it started?
No.
There's a couple of people think a couple of different things. They say it started back in China, you know, with the overlords and all that stuff. Modern insurance, as we know it, started over in Britain. And you had all these shipping companies that were, you know, sending ships out to, you know, India and all these different places. And they were getting attacked by pirates. So all the shipping people got together and said, well, let's all come together and pool our resources so that, you know, if your ship gets attacked, we're all going to cover you, so that none of us gets hurt and put out of business, so that we all work together. And that was the start of Lloyd's of London. And that's why it's called inland marine insurance and marine insurance. And, you know, inland marine is what covers jewelry because it's not on the water. So those are the things that it started to protect things that we could not afford to lose. You know, we get life insurance to protect our families so that if something happens to me, my family's okay. We get car insurance to protect us if we're in an accident. Not just the other person, the liability for the other person, but uninsured motorists to protect me in case I'm hit and they don't have insurance. We get health insurance because we can't always pay doctor bills. We get home insurance to protect the loss of our home, whether it's fire, whatever the hazard is. So making sure people are properly insured with the right carriers is what we do. What I'm looking for is more people who want to be insured correctly with the right coverages, with the right carriers. Thank you.